Welcome to my channel. This is art class, and in today's class we are going to learn how to draw an apple. So in order to draw an apple, I've listed out 5 steps, and we are going to go through those steps one by one, and I'll review them at the end. Let's observe our picture. In our picture we have a single apple, and the light is coming from above the apple on the right hand side. There are shadows. The shadows are on the left hand side of the apple. We see some on the counter where the apple is laid, and we see some on the apple itself. So now that we made those observations, let's go ahead with the first step, which is to draw lines and circles. Lines and circles. So we start by drawing a circle, a light circle, and then we would draw the lines for where the apple sits on the counter. Right. Now we'll draw the shape of the apple, the circle on top, the semicircle on top, and the body of the apple. Now we'll put in an arrow that will indicate where the light is coming from. The light is coming from the right hand corner of the picture. So we'll just put an arrow to indicate where the light is coming from. Let's go on to the next step. The next step is to shade. We see the shadows, so we'll start putting in some pencil where we see the shadows on the apple and on the counter. This step doesn't have to be perfect, so you don't have to press hard on the pencil, but you need to press hard enough to show where the shadows are. We have shaded where the shadows are, and now we are going to shade the rest of the apple. There are 3 tones in the apple. There's the darkest, there's a middle tone, and there's a light tone. The light tone is where the light hits the apple, so that's the lightest part of the apple. The darkest part of the apple is where the shadow is, but in between the shadow and the light there's a mid color. So what we are going to do, we are going to practice shading. I want you to use your pencil in a light way and practice shading in the mid tone. You're not going to press down too hard, and you're not going to press too light, so you have to get in the middle. When you've done that and you've practiced, put in the middle tone on the apple. So use your pencil and put in the mid tone, similar to how I have put it in here, right? The next step would be to blend. To blend, you could use a Q-tip, you could use cotton, or you could use your finger to blend. So we'll just use our finger and rub it over the graphite on the paper, and that would smudge the graphite, so it would look like a blurred apple. After you finish blending it, use the eraser and erase any graphite that may have went around the apple that shouldn't be there. when you finish blending, the next step is to draw dark lines. So we have already established where the outline of the apple is. So now we are going to draw it again over the shaded and blended apple. So we are going to use dark lines and draw the outline of the apple again, just to indicate that this is where the apple is. So after we draw those dark lines, we are going to intensify the shadows and the details of the apple. So those are included in dark lines as well. So we are going to put in more shadows, make the shadows darker, and see if we could make our drawing look like the photo. So at this time we're gonna use the photo and try to make our drawing look like the photo. And at the end of this step, the next step is to blend. The next step is to blend. So when you have blended the apple, you could go back and put in details and put in shadows. You could blend, you could put in dark lines, you could put in light lines, just to make the apple look like the picture, to make it look realistic. So the steps are: step 1, lines and circles. Step 2, shade. Step 3, blend and erase. Step 4, dark lines. Step 5, blend. So in the steps, you notice that I have blend in step 3 and blend again in step 4. So these steps is to teach you the basics of drawing. However, when you are drawing something, you could go back and forth between blending, shading, erasing, putting in dark lines, putting in details, and it would go according to what you are drawing. So with these steps, these are the basic steps, but you could take these steps and you could draw anything. So if you want to draw a water bottle, you could take these steps and observe the bottle, observe where the light is coming from, draw lines, light lines and circles and shapes to indicate where the bottle is. And then you shade the bottle, you blend the bottle, you erase to show where the light is, to show the highlights. You add in dark lines, add in details, then you blend, you erase, and you can keep on going like that until you replicate the bottle. So that's it for this class. I hope that you learned something from it, and we will continue doing drawings similar to this and drawing exercises to develop your drawing skills. So enjoy this video, and you can feel free to play this video back and learn and grow from it. Take care.